If you've clicked on this video, I'm going to assume that you at least share some of the same memories of Tibia that I do. But if you don't, Tibia is a top-down 2D fantasy world that launched way back in 1997. One of the world's first fully graphical MMORPGs. A game that, for many of us, wasn't just a pastime, it was a whole universe. A place where we learned how to explore, how to take risks, how to work together, and sometimes how to lose everything in a single misstep. And if you do share those memories, if you grew up wandering this pixelated continent, then you already know exactly what you're looking at. That's Venor, the merchant city of traders, a city that smelled of swamp water, rope and adventure, even though none of us could actually smell anything. And up there, way off in the distance, sits the ancient city of Thyas. Thyas? People never agree. One of the royal seats of the Tibian continent, its strong walls rising proudly above the land, its mammoth watchtower keeping silent guard over the world below. Thyas was the beating heart of Tibia, the place where you brought your first plate armor, where you nervously stepped into the sewers, where you first felt like a real adventurer. And then, over to our left, the sprawling Plains of Havoc, a name that should still send a little shiver down your spine, the home of giant spiders, dragons, and the Necromant House, the gateway to the domain of the Ruthless Seven, a place where many brave souls lost their backpacks, their blessings, and occasionally their sanity. A place whispered about in guild chats and spoken of with equal parts fear and pride. And then there's all these places that bring back so many memories for me. Orc Fortress, Abdendriel, you can see the top of Carlin Castle poking over the flat peak of the Big Old One, that great mountain at the heart of the Tibian continent that hides the dwarven halls of Khazor Dûn deep beneath its stone. And this, all of this, is just the tip of the iceberg. Every island, every city, every dungeon, lovingly remade block by block into a fully rebuilt rendition of the continent of Tibia, completely explorable in Minecraft. Not just a rough outline, not a fan sketch, a full, faithful reconstruction of the world we once knew only from a top-down perspective. This map has been in progress for 13 years. And if you've grown up with Tibia, like I have, wouldn't that already be something magical to see? To just explore? Well, my friends, this goes so much deeper than just a map. So this is PT3D, Project Tibia 3D. And while you watch this footage of me and my friend, a druid in the night, hunting behemoths deep under Edron, I want you to pay close attention to the hotbar at the bottom. What you're seeing shouldn't really be possible in Minecraft, but that's exactly why this server is so fascinating. PT3D is a Minecraft server running more custom systems than you'd ever expect. I've been playing here for about 2 years now, and honestly, I love it. It's one of those projects that sounds impossible on paper, but once you get into it, you start to realize just how much care and dedication has gone into making it all work. What I really love about it is that the game is basically a time capsule. It's built around Tibia 8.6, a version of the game from 2010, and from that perspective, it stays locked in that era. And since many players still see 8.6 as the sort of golden era of Tibia, staying in that version gives the whole server this authentic, old-school feeling. But that doesn't mean that it's abandoned or frozen. The server still receives regular updates multiple times a year from a small but extremely dedicated volunteer team. They fix things, they add mechanics, they introduce new quests, and keep the whole thing alive. Over the years, they've added so many quests that now almost everything is there. And not just there, but implemented with the correct mechanics. If you want nostalgia, you'll get it. You can do Banshee Quest, Annihilator, the Pits of Inferno, Inquisition, In Service of Yalahar, and any of the classic low-level quests that everyone remembers. Pretty much any mainland quest, from Desert Quest to Hat of the Mad, you'll find it. And it works exactly the way you expect it to. And at this point, once you've gone through a few quests, you start to realize just how much of Tibia's old soul is actually here. It's not just a checklist of content. The pacing, the progression, the way quests push you into different parts of the map, it all feels so familiar. And naturally, once you've settled into that rhythm, the next thing you start paying attention to is how the game plays moment to moment. Because quests are one thing, but if the combat doesn't feel right, the whole experience falls apart. And that's where things start to get really interesting. So let's talk about the combat, because this is where I was the most skeptical at first. I assumed it would just be Minecraft combat with a Tibia skin slapped on top. Maybe just a few mobs renamed, maybe some custom textures, but fundamentally, still just Minecraft. But this is where PT3D surprised me. And if you've been paying attention to the footage, maybe you've worked it out. Spells are handled through scrolls. You put the scroll on your hotbar, and it works just like a Tibia hotkey. Right-click, and the spell fires instantly. Mana and health usage match Tibia's exactly. Damage and healing scaling, everything is tied to your level, your magic level, or your skills. You don't just spam-click mobs like in Minecraft. You click once to target, and then auto-attack takes over, just like Tibia. And if you want to cast a spell that you don't often use, if you don't have space on your hotbar, you can literally type it into chat. You want light, you type Utivo Lux. You need to cure poison, Ixana Pox. It just works. It feels natural in a way that I just didn't expect. Combat itself feels good. Now, it's not identical to Tibia because it can't be, but it captures the right feeling. PT3D runs faster than the real game. The combat ticks at about twice the speed. This makes the world feel more fluid and less turn-based. Cooldowns behave like 8.6 Tibia. You can drink a potion and cast a spell in the same round. Once you get used to the rhythm, it feels surprisingly authentic. Now, the big question. How does the world feel? The population is small, usually fewer than 10 players online at a time, and that's really the only thing holding this server back. For a project that's been running for over a decade, it's surprising, even a little disappointing, because the world itself feels ready for far more activity.
The systems that are in place can easily support a lively community. You can buy houses, start guilds, own guild halls. You can form parties and use shared experience. You can even benefit from party buffs. You can fish, toss loot bags, train your skills, decorate your house. There are even inventory management tools and an in-game market that lets players buy and sell items while offline. There's just very little missing from the core Tibia experience. And the server even holds community events. Every May, for example, the entire month is dedicated to the server's anniversary. That usually means double loot, a special challenge arena that only opens during that month, themed events and unique outfits that change every year. There are also weekend events, from cities being raided by piggy bank dropping pigs for low levels to get a bit more cash, to spawns of classic bosses like Orshabal, Gazbaran and Morgoth. And around every 6 months, the community managers spawn in Ferumbras, who in Tibia is basically the legendary sorcerer boss. In the original game, he appears at the top of his citadel in a massive server-wide event, and players rush in hope of getting his iconic hat. One of the most famous rare items in Tibia's history. PT3D successfully recreates that same feeling. Even with a tiny population, a Ferumbra spawn is still a moment where everyone online drops what they're doing and heads over to see if they can take him down. So, with everything I've described, if it all works so well, if it's as fun as I claim it is, why are there so few players? Well, one problem is that the server only runs on an outdated version of Minecraft, specifically 1.11.2. With modern launchers, it's easy to fix. You just sideload that version and you're done, but it's still perceived as a barrier. Once you connect, the server automatically prompts you to download the texture pack, so you don't even have to dig through files or install anything manually. It is surprisingly user-friendly. I think the real issue is just marketing. Most people simply don't know the server exists, and when someone does stumble across it, they log in, they see 1 or 2 people online, usually AFK training, and they just leave, having not experienced any of what the game really has to offer. But here's the thing. The community does exist. It's just sporadic. There's an active Discord server where discussions about the state of play happen regularly. Even as I edit this video together, there's a heated debate that's been going on for the past month about vocation balance. And honestly, if that doesn't prove that it's a real Tibia experience, what will? The potential for this server is huge. It would only take 20, 25 active players for the world to feel busy and alive. There's even a boosted mob system that selects 2 monsters at random and gives them double experience and loot. And even with today's tiny population, those boosted spawns can still get surprisingly competitive. And that's really why I wanted to talk about PT3D. It's a passion project with an enormous amount of depth, accuracy, and love behind it. It loyally recreates Tibia in a fully 3D world, with mechanics that feel right, quests that work, and a world that's ready for players. It just needs people to show up. So that's PT3D. It's this crazy, brilliant passion project that somehow brings Tibia 8.6 to life inside Minecraft with way more accuracy than you'd ever expect. The world is built. The quests work. The combat feels right. Everything's here and ready. It's just waiting for you to jump in, have a try, get out of Rookguard, see what the world can offer you, and maybe you'll love it just like I do. Thank you so much for watching. This is my first time making a video like this, so please leave me any feedback you might have below. There's still so much more that I want to share with you about the world of PT3D, but this video has gone on long enough. I'm currently putting together a full series where I take a character from level 1 to 100 and revisit some of those old quests and explain the systems in more detail, and hopefully we can build some new memories along the way. So if you like the sound of that and that's something you want to join me for, then make sure that you subscribe. If you are interested in joining the server, you can find the details in the description below. And there you'll also find the link to the Discord server, where the community will be more than happy to help get you set up. I hope you've enjoyed this brief introduction to PT3D, and I hope to see you in-game very soon.
Oh man.